Hello and welcome back everyone to CodersArts. My name is Shivam Agarwal and I am your online instructor and guide for this tutorial. This tutorial is about database with SQL, where we'll be dealing with the concepts of database and the concepts of SQL. This is the third video in this tutorial where we are dealing with the RDBMS. So let us understand what is RDBMS. So it stands for Relational Database Management System. It is essentially just a program to create and maintain a relational database. Okay, so whenever we talk about a relational database that I told you in the last video, we'll be using something called as RDBMS to create and manage the whole database. Okay, so this relational database management system can be either MySQL that most of the industries use. It can be the Microsoft SQL Server. The SQL Server is also very popular in the industry. Next is Oracle. Many educational platforms and other industries use Oracle relational database management system as well. And the last one is Microsoft Access. Many of you might have used Microsoft Access that comes with the Microsoft Office in your PC, where you have created some rows and columns and stored some data in the school also. Okay, so that is also relational database management system. How we will access the data and how we'll manipulate the data in the relational database management, we'll be using something called as queries. Okay, so when we are dealing with SQL programming language, we'll be dealing with queries only. Queries are essentially the statements. This can be one line or multi-line statements based on the complexity of the query, which are used to access the data in the database. Okay. This access can be insertion of data, updation of data, deletion, or completely dropping the database. Okay. So all of these things can be done by using the SQL queries in the relational database management system. Now that you know what is RDBMS, let us look at the definition also. So, what is relational database? If somebody asks you, you can easily say a relational database defines database relationship in the form of tables. In the last video also, I told you that uh, there can be multiple tables inside a database. Those tables have to be related to each other so that our RDBMS can be formed and data patterns can be recognized. Okay, if there is no relationship between any table in the database, then the database will be of very little use. It can only store raw data. We have to define something like relationships between the data of different tables. Okay, some data is common between the two tables. That is how we link the two tables. Okay, so whenever we create tables, we try to make sure that something is common that is applied between the tables. We divide the data into tables in a format that some data is common between them. Okay, let us look at an example using the tables. You see over here, I have a customer table. Okay, so this is a table which has 6 or 7 columns, starting with customer ID, their name, contact name, address, city, postal code, and country. Okay, so this table contains 5 records and it has 7 fields. Okay, as I told you in the last video what are records and fields. So this is all the data. If we see, this database can contain another table like order table. Okay. So this is second table that is inside a database. It says order ID, customer ID, employee ID, order date, and shipper ID. What this database is trying to do is it has some customers data or information inside it. Okay, and those customers can place some orders which are stored in the second table. Okay, so this is what this database is trying to do. Now there is one way that we relate the first customers table to this orders table, because there is customer which is common between the registration customer table and the order table. We can use it as a common entity to relate those tables. Okay, so you can see over here the customer ID is unique in this table because it's the primary key. What are those primary keys? We'll see in the coming videos. The customer ID is unique over here because each customer is assigned a particular unique ID. Okay. Whenever a customer will place an order, the ID associated to the customer will be used. Okay. So in orders table, whatever order ID is placed, there will be a customer ID associated with it, which will denote which customer has placed that order. Okay. So this is how these two tables are related. Suppose there are more tables in the database, there will be something, some column or some data inside the table that will be related to relate those tables. Okay. So that is how our RDBMS will perform its operations. In MySQL, we use queries. In Microsoft SQL Server, we have similar set of queries. A little bit of statements can differ because when I've used most of these Oracle, SQL Server, and MySQL, many of the queries are same, but some differences are supplied in these different platforms. So I'll try to cover most of them, but more importantly, we'll be covering everything related to MySQL in this tutorial. Okay, so that is it for this video. See you in the next video where we'll see more about the SQL and the platform MySQL and the differences between the two, so that there's no confusion in between the two concepts. Okay, that is it for this. Thank you. Bye bye.